I'm the cafe manager and barista trainer at Black River Roasters, and today we'll be taking a look at part 2 of our Better Brewing at Home video series. We created the series just to help people during the COVID crisis make better coffee at home. So let's go over a couple of the necessary equipment. First off, you'll be needing some sort of brewer. I'm going to be using a V60 Hario brewer today. It's one of my favorites, but if you have a Chemex, Kalita, or any other type of brewer at home, those will work just as well. I'll be using a gooseneck kettle. The gooseneck helps you control your pour during your pour overs, making sure that each batch is as consistent as the last one. Obviously, some absolutely delicious coffee. Today we'll be using our Guatemala. Really excited about this right now, really creamy, really smooth, but also fairly light in body. I'll be kind of going off of our recipe cards. If you're interested, you could just put it in the notes section of your order on our website, and we'll be happy to include this recipe card with your order of coffee. So I'll be using a 1:16 ratio for this recipe, which basically means I'll be starting with 25 grams of ground coffee and 400 grams of water. Last but not least, I will highly encourage you to get a scale if you do not already have one. Scales just help you be super consistent with your coffee so that on any given day you can make the same deliciousness that you enjoyed the day before. All right, well, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to start out with here is just rinsing our paper filter. I do this primarily just to avoid any paper taste ending up in my cup. Be sure that when you rinse out your filters you're using hot water, as this will really cleanse the filters of any paper flavor. I'm going to dump the water in the sink, and then I'm going to get my water for brewing. If you use a stovetop kettle, just make sure that you have your water temperature just off of boiling. Here at the cafe, we usually keep our water at around 202 degrees for brewing. As I mentioned, we're going to be using our Guatemalan coffee here. I'm going to start with a 25-gram dose. Typically for a pour over, I recommend using a grind size just a little bit finer than your regular drip grind size, so about a medium. And I'm just going to make sure that the bed is evenly distributed here so that it absorbs all the water evenly. Here we're going to start with our first pour. This is called the bloom, where we pour just enough water to wet all of the grinds. Once we have just barely wet all of the grinds, we're going to give it a little swirl so that the water permeates throughout the coffee bed, and we're going to let it bloom for about 30 seconds. After the 30 seconds is over, we're going to continue with our second and final pour. We're going to be pouring slowly and consistently until we reach our desired weight. You determine your weight of water based on the amount of ground coffee you started with. Whatever ground coffee you start with, multiply that by 16, and that's how much water you should be using. Typically, you want to finish your pour by 2 minutes and allow the coffee to drip for an additional minute. Be sure to turn off your scale, grab your favorite drinking cup, and enjoy some freshly brewed coffee. So thanks so much for joining us today. If you click on the link in the description, you'll find all of the merchandise that we used today to make our pour over, including our V60, our decanter, as well as some delicious coffee. Feel free to reach out to us with any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.